Okay, guys, for now, for a couple of videos, we are going to talk about research process. As you know, the first thing that we are going to do when we are thinking about the research process is to choose our research topic. When we are going to do a research, either this is like for our dissertation, for our thesis, for our like research paper, for the publication, any kind of research that we are going to do is the first thing is that we need to choose a research topic, a solid research topic that help us to get done our project. It's like it can be our thesis, it can be our dissertation, or it can be a research project for the publication. So that's why for some video series we are going to talk about research process. And first thing first, we are going to talk about how to choose a research topic. So the first video that we dedicated in our research process is how to choose a research topic. So the first time we are going to talk about a research process, and we start our research process or talking on research process from how to choose a research topic. So let's go, guys. So in this video we are going to talk about two things. The first, we are going to talk about 4 tips to consider when we are choosing a research topic, and then we are going to go to a 4-step method that help us to start from a scratch, like designing and developing a research topic up to the end that we have a solid and very concrete research topic and research title that we are going to work on that. So now let's start from the 4 tips to consider when we are going to talk or when we are going to think about choosing a research topic. The first, when we are going to talk about this 4 tips, is like based on this roadmap. We are going to talk about research gap, how to find a research gap. By considering or finding a research gap, we are going to develop a research idea, a research topic, and then how we can develop a research topic based on insight from other disciplines rather than from own like a specific and narrow measure. And also how we can like get a research idea from our personal or professional experiences, and also the 4 tips that we are going to talk at the end. So let's continue at the end. So now, tip number 1 is the research gap. So one of the things that we need to consider when we are talking about finding a research topic is to think about the research gap, because we are finding a research topic based on the considering or like a kind of extracting research gap from the existing literature or research that there exists. So how we can identify the research gap? When we are thinking about identifying the research gap, so first thing first, we need to know what is research gap. When you are talking about what is research gap, the research gap is the academic justification for your study that ensure your research is novel and publishable. It means no one touch that part of the research. When you see other research, other papers, other publication, other like thesis, other dissertation, you can't see that topic that you want to cover that already covered by other researchers. So you find you're trying to find out what is lacking in the research literature that you are going to do your research on that part in order to ensure that you are going to find out some novel things on something that it can help you to publish. There are 4 types that we can consider when we are thinking about research gap. Lack of or insufficient research. It means there's not sufficiently research project has been done on that area that you are going to do your research, or even there's no research on that area. There is some research closely to that area, but not exactly to that specific research topic or that the specific research area that you are going to do your research. And the second thing, when there's controversy in your field or a lack of understanding, there's some controversy and there's lack of understanding, you are going to find out to develop your research idea, to make it clear, to make it understandable for the other people that you're going to do by doing research, you're going to make it clear for other people to understand what is going on your field. And also you can draw your research gap based on limitation of previous research. When you see other research, specifically at the end of the research or in the end of the introduction, they include something about limitation of their research. 1, 2, 3, 4 limitations. By considering the limitation in previous research, you can like a kind of develop, you can create your own research based on the research gap that already exists and the other research and the other publication or papers that have been already published or already introduced. So the fourth thing is specific problems that need resolving. When there is some problems existing in the research area and in the research and the area that you are interested to that, and you have created that research idea, so it means there is a research gap on that, and you are going to resolve that. How we are going to find out? We are going to find out by reading the literature and noticing research pattern and limitations. And the second things, like you are going to create some kind of table that we can identify the research gap. For example, limitation of previous studies is a small sample size, for example. Then suppose Lee 2016 only used 10 sample size, 10 participants, Jones 2021 only used 12 participants. But you are going to do and use more larger sample, for example, 50 or more than that sample. It can help you to do your research with larger sample of observations. And then the second tip is insight from other fields. That you are going to not only create your research idea based on a narrow research area of your major, but rather you are going to get insight from other research area and create some novel research things. So the problem is many researchers focus on an increasing narrow area and ends up knowing everything about nothing. The result is we can't see beyond the confines of our narrow specialism. So what is the solution? The solution is that when we are thinking about only a narrow research area ourselves, it means we are going to lock in a black box of your discipline, unable to see what's going on outside, and we are following the crowd. So when we think about outside of the box, being able to see both inside and outside our own discipline, and we are going to do innovations inside from other fields. For example, when we have some information about psychology, so we can bring some idea from psychology and labor economics and do our research in labor economics. Or when we have some information about politics, so we can bring that politics in our own research area, and we can do the effect of like election on labor market participation. Election is some political area, labor market participation is some labor economics area. So we can mix both of them and create our own novel research idea, which can be like a great contribution to the research. And how we can gain insight from other fields, there are 4 ways. The first, read journal papers, listen to podcasts, and read books from different disciplines, and watch YouTube videos. If you don't have time to read journal papers related to other fields, so listen to podcasts. If you don't have time to listen to like a long podcast, so read books from different disciplines, just read the introduction, read like some very important parts. If you don't have still time, so watch some short YouTube videos related to the disciplines that you are interested to, bring that knowledge from that disciplines to your discipline and do some research work in a kind of mix or interdisciplinary research. Okay, now we are going to talk on the third tips, which is personal and professional experiences. Sometimes we can bring our personal experiences to the ground and can use that personal experiences in order to create some novel or creative research idea. Or even if we don't have any practical personal experiences, so we can like ask or we can consult other professionals which they have practical experiences. For example, if we don't have knowledge on politics and we are going to find out some connection between politics and also our own research field, which is labor economics, so we can ask some professionals which they have some experience in politics, or at least they have like political knowledge, and then use that knowledge or that experiences and create some novel research idea. And the fourth one, sorry for the numbering here, this is the tip number 4, which is research topic feasibility. When we are thinking about research topic, we need to answer why this research is important. While you might have a great topic, it might be practically impossible or very difficult for you to investigate it currently. So your research idea should be feasible. How we assess feasibility? Consider the following things. First, your current skills and the skills needed for the research, the time needed for the study, financial resources required and those available to you, other resources, material needed and their availability to you, and knowledge needed versus knowledge you have. By like thinking about these 5 points, when we are going to evaluate our current skill that we have and the skills needed for the research, the time that we need to study this research, the time that we have available, and financial resources and other resources that we need, which is required and available, how much we need, how much is available. Other resources and material, for example, data, how much data we need, how much data is available. For example, we need computer software, what we need and what is available now, the knowledge that we need and the knowledge that is available. And finally, how we find the right balance. Ultimately, you want to focus on topics that are both high impact and feasible for you. So when you are going to choose your research topic, you need to think about that the research topic should be high impact and should be feasible for you. Okay, the second thing is we are going to talk about 8-step method for creating research idea. The first one is understand the basic of research theory. So what kind of research, basic research that you need to understand? You need to understand some research problem. What is research problem? What is research questions? You need to understand about literature review, about fieldwork methods, about methodology of the research. You need to know these things. And the tips number 2, or step number 2 here, is understand exactly what your university wants and allows. Because each university, they may have different roles, different regulations, different like requirement for doing a research topic. So in this case, in the second step, you need to understand exactly what your university wants. If you don't know, if you don't have the knowledge what the university wants, the regulations, the roles, and anything else, exactly you will waste time on dead ends if you don't know your university roles. Okay, then we are thinking about university roles. We have to think about these things, about the originality requirement. How unique does your topic needs to be based on your university regulation? Topic restrictions. Which topic area are you allowed to do? Because there are some restrictions. Some university does not allow you to do some research in a specific like parts or fields or research area. And data requirement. Are you required to use primary data, secondary data, or you can do both? And methodology. Are you allowed to do quantitative research, qualitative research, or mixed? Some ethical restriction or requirement there may be exist in universities. So you have to think about what are the restrictions and requirements based on ethics, like the level of plagiarism. When you're evaluating for the plagiarism level, you need to think about that. Other restriction requirement and rules, ethically you have to know that one. If at least if there is no broad universal regulation, you have some departmental regulation, you have some major-based regulations, you have some regulations or rules that professor created for you for his or her student. You have to follow that regulations and rules and whatever that is allowed for you, that you can do your research. You can ask your professors how unique does the topic to be, which topic area you're allowed, which kind of data you're allowed to use, which kind of method, and what ethical restrictions that you have to consider. You need to think about all of these things. Okay, secondly, I want to give you this message. Know the rules of the game before you play. Don't forget that. Know the rules of the game before you play. Okay? Step number 3, identify areas that interest you. You have to do some action. First, make a list of 3 to 5 areas that have interested you in your course. Either you're in PhD course or you're in master course. Select 3 to 5 research areas. Try to avoid any area that you might bring your own biases into, your emotional biases, your emotional touch. You have to be interested, but that interest should come from your research interest rather than your emotional biases. So avoid any area that you might bring your own biases to that. So you have to consider 2 tips when you are identifying research area. Consider which area would offer good faculty support. Is there any advisor? Is there any faculty support for that or not? And also consider your desired career path in the future. What do you want to do? Because one of the things that when we are choosing our research topic, we have to think about our career path in the future. Where do you want to work? If you want to work in the banking sector, choose some topic related to banking sector. If you want to work some related to labor organization, for example, labor union, Ministry of Labor, International Labor Organization, choose some topic related to that bring you impact to the labor market. If you want to work in some environmental aspects, choose some topic related to environment. Think these 2 things. Consider which area would offer good faculty support, and consider your desired career path. Step number 4, narrow down your interest area. What you are going to do, narrow down from broad interest areas to more niche area. Review past research to identify more refined niche area of your interest. Question to think about in this step is, what type of topic did other researchers cover? How they turned the topic into research questions? How broad or narrow were the topics that they covered? How original or unique were the topics? And how important or justified were the topics? You have to think about these things when you are thinking about when you're reviewing the past research. You have to ask these 5 questions from yourself and answer clearly to these questions. And then, for example, a broad area is human capital, but niche area is the role of education in the labor market. Broad area, inequality in the labor market, but the niche area is gender inequality in the labor market. And then step number 5 is review the literature. When you choose your narrow research area or research interest, now is the time to review some literature related to that niche area. Review the literature to understand the current stage of knowledge. And actually the missing pieces of the puzzle are where good research topics lay to that. So find out what pieces of missing in the other literature. Review top 5 most relevant articles to your research area. And review some literature review paper. For example, as you see here, literature review on the antecedent of online trust, or literature review on the role of skills, literature review on the role of human capital, whatever you want to do. Find out some literature review published paper. Most literature review cover a lot of things, a lot of literature related to that specific field of interest. So now, you don't need to read all the paper that you found out relevant articles to your niche area. What you are going to do is skim the following things: executive summary or abstract, introduction section, and conclusion section. And one thing is that I have mentioned here about the reference list. Most of the times, you can find more like relevant research papers from the reference list. When you find out one relevant paper, go through the reference list and see what other closely paper you can find from the reference list. And it's a kind of way that you can find out one literature from another literature, one paper from another paper, like a kind of snowballing process that can help you to get more research paper, more literature, and more relevant literature to your research area. What you are going to do, gather up to 20 articles per area that you are interested in. And then after finding 20 articles, find out the closely 5 of them. Review the top 5 most relevant articles. Okay, step number 6 is identify potential research topic. So now, you choose your broad area, then narrow niche area. Now is to find out or identify potential research topic by 3 methods. First, leverage the FRIN, further research is needed. Provide a validated research idea with zero effort. Mostly in the conclusion part of the papers, they mention some parts related to further research. You can study that further research. If there's no further research, you can find out the research limitation in other research. And that FRIN or further research is needed is a good and validated research idea without any further effort. If you cannot find any good research idea, maybe there is further research is needed, but it's not interested to you, then assess an old topic within a new unique context, a new country, a unique industry, a unique demographic group, a unique socioeconomic condition. And even still, if there's no old topic that you can bring it in new unique context, do brainstorm and do some mind mapping. Based on now you have your literature review from other relevant literature, and do some mind mapping by thinking about the other literature, about the gap that exists in other paper, and then do brainstorming and mind mapping. And step number 7 is turn your topic into a specific research question. In this step, turn your research topic into narrow specific research question. One research questions, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 5 research question you can create. Big research question. And then step number 8, which is the final step, is evaluating the topic ideas. So now, you have to evaluate your topic ideas based on these elements, which is originality. Is it unique enough for your program? Importance. Is it worth researching or answering? Literature base. Is there any literature to build on? And data access. Can you get access to the data you need? Resource. When you have access to required resources, analysis, will you be able to analyze the data correctly? And finally, personal attraction. Overall, how attractive this research is for you. And score each topic, that 5 areas that you have chosen, 5 like subfield, and choose 3 topics, or top 3 topics. And then summarize your top 3 topics into 3 super concise pitches. Like we are going to build an elevator pitch for each topic, for each top 3 ideas. By answering these 4 questions: what? Explain the big picture of your research topic. You can write out just 1 sentence. Why it's original? Explain why your topic is unique. 1 sentence. Why it's important? Explain why this is valuable. 1 sentence. How? Explain how will you undertake the research, the process, the method, whatever is related to how, exactly explain that part. Then, when you did your pitch and write down a small paragraph by answering these 4 questions, now there's 2 methods to get feedback for your pitch. The first method: ask your friend, family, and colleagues for feedback. Which, why, and what. And the second method is ask your advisor, professor, or professional for their feedback. So ask them, from this 3 top research topic, which one do they like? Which one is more relevant, more contributory, and more novel, more innovations on that research idea exists? Ask your family, friends, colleagues, advisor, professor, and get their feedback. So now it's the final time that it's time to make a decision. When you get their feedback on the 3 topics and see who the majority has chosen, then think about yourself as well and make your final decision and choose your best research topic out of many research idea, then research big picture, narrow niche, potential topic, research questions based on your pitch and based on the feedback that you got from your friends, your professors, and other individuals, either professionals, either consultant, whatever, or some people that they provide services. Ask questions from them, and finally choose your last research topic for writing your dissertation, thesis, or research paper. So thank you for now, and let's see you in the next session of research process, that we are going to talk about the research proposal and how to write a very concise and useful and acceptable research project and a research proposal. For now, thank you so much. See you next time.